Hey there and welcome. So today, we're going to dive deep into an herb that you almost definitely have in your kitchen right now, coriander. Yeah, we see it sprinkled on top of our food all the time, but is that really the whole story for this super common plant? Let's find out.
We all know these little guys, right? The seeds, the leaves, the smell is just unmistakable. But what if I told you that hiding inside that familiar flavor is a medicinal power that goes back thousands and thousands of years?
Okay, so first, let's start with what we all know, where we usually find coriander, right on our plates.
Right, so whether you call it coriander or maybe cilantro or dhania, the leaves and the seeds from this one plant, Coriandrum sativum, are literally a global superstar in the kitchen. They give you that fresh, kind of citrusy kick or that warm, spicy note in just countless dishes. It's a go-to for flavor all over the world.
But here's the kicker. Its role in our kitchens? That's actually a pretty new thing in its very, very long history. For most of human history, coriander was prized for something totally different.
I mean, just look at the timescale we're talking about here. It's wild. Coriander's been used medicinally for at least 3,000 years. We're talking mentions in ancient Egyptian texts like the Ebers Papyrus way back in 1550 BC. In traditional medicine all over the world, it was the go-to fix for everything from an upset stomach to urinary problems. And that importance hasn't faded. Today, India is the world's biggest producer, consumer, and exporter.
And in the traditional Indian system of medicine, Ayurveda, coriander has this really special place. It's called a tridoshic herb. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it means it's believed to help bring all three of your fundamental body energies, or doshas, back into balance. For a single herb to do that, that's a pretty big deal.
So why is it seen as this master balancer? Ayurveda breaks it down like this. While the taste is a mix of sweet and pungent, its core energy, or virya, is cooling. And that cooling property is the key. You can think of it as the traditional way of describing what we might call an anti-inflammatory effect today. That's why it was so great for anything caused by too much heat in the body, like indigestion or irritated skin.
So, we've gone from ancient scrolls to Ayurvedic texts, and the historical claims are pretty huge. But how does all this ancient wisdom stack up against modern science? Let's put it under the microscope.
And yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? It's one thing for your grandma to tell you an herb is good for you, but does that traditional use actually hold up when scientists take a look?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is a massive yes. And this slide just perfectly illustrates the potential we're talking about. Modern research has found a whole host of powerful activities. We're talking antioxidant, anti-diabetic, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It even has anti-anxiety and brain-protecting effects. I mean, come on, that list is seriously impressive.
And look, this isn't some kind of magic. It all comes down to chemistry. The power behind all those properties comes from specific bioactive compounds. For instance, its essential oils are packed with a compound called linalool, and the fixed oils are rich in something called petroselenic acid. These are the little molecules that are doing all the heavy lifting.
Okay, so we have ancient wisdom and modern science basically pointing in the exact same direction. So what? What does this actually mean for us in the real world? How can we use this for our health? And maybe even more importantly, what are the things we need to be careful about?
Let's use kidney health as a perfect example of this delicate balance. On one hand, you've got some real potential benefits. It's a natural diuretic, which can help your body flush out toxins and might help reduce swelling. But, and this is a really big but, for anyone with chronic kidney disease, you have to be super careful. Coriander has potassium and phosphorus, which often need to be limited. Plus, that diuretic effect could cause dehydration, which puts even more stress on the kidneys. It's the perfect example of how one size definitely does not fit all. And the potential uses go beyond just detox. For instance, in traditional practice, it's pretty common to see coriander water recommended to help manage hormonal imbalances, especially for conditions like PCOS.
So you're probably wondering, how do I actually make this stuff? It's incredibly simple. You just soak either a handful of fresh leaves or about a teaspoon of the seeds in water overnight. Then in the morning, you just strain it and drink it. If you're using seeds, you might want to give them a quick boil first and then let it cool down. And usually the advice is to drink it on an empty stomach to get the most out of it.
This all sounds pretty amazing, right? It almost feels like we've got a whole pharmacy just hiding in our spice rack. But before we all run off and start prescribing ourselves coriander tea, we need to talk about the most important part, being safe.
This really is the crucial question. Just because something is natural doesn't automatically mean it's risk-free, especially when you start using it in larger, medicinal amounts instead of just a sprinkle on your food.
So, here are some key things to keep in mind, right from the research. Because it can mess with your blood sugar and blood pressure, it's best to stop taking it in large amounts at least 2 weeks before any surgery. Also, if you're allergic to other plants in the same family, like fennel or dill, you might have a reaction to coriander too. And it could make your skin more sensitive to the sun, so make sure you're using sunscreen.
And this part is absolutely critical. Coriander can interact with certain medications. If you're on meds for diabetes or high blood pressure, adding coriander could actually push your levels too low. And if you take it with sedatives, it might make you way too sleepy. So, the bottom line is this. Always talk to your doctor before you start using any herb as a medicine.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? I think this quote from a scientific journal sums it up perfectly. Modern science doesn't just see coriander as a garnish anymore. It sees it as a potential source of high-value components for functional foods and nutraceuticals. Basically, foods that are designed to do more than just feed you, but to actually improve your health.
So, from a simple sprinkle on your tacos to a complex chemical powerhouse, coriander is just a fantastic reminder that sometimes the most amazing things are hiding in the most ordinary places. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other ancient secrets are hiding in plain sight right there in your kitchen?